The scientists of Earth made an amazing discovery. A bunny named Momo lives on the moon.
Mooncakes. Mooncakes. Momo's here.
Recently, the scientists of Earth made an amazing discovery. A bunny named Momo lives on the moon.
We're all gonna totally hang out. We're all gonna totally hang out. Tonight we've got a bunch of questions that we're gonna go through. Just doing some last minute things, kind of getting everything chill. Oh, my kitty's moving around. How cute.
Recently, the scientists of Earth made an amazing discovery. A bunny named Momo lives on the moon.
Yes, I do. I totally live on the moon. 100% I am on the moon, mooncakes. Gonna chill out for another few minutes and then I'm gonna get started. Oh, if you're in the chat, then say hello. Make sure you say hello. We're gonna go through questions tonight and do spooky art. I don't quite have my full Halloween fix. We're gonna talk about that too. Cat's in here making a lot of noise, trying to come to the moon door. My nose is a little bit sniffly again. All of these allergies. Alright, kids. We're gonna go to the moon in a second, mooncakes. I need to get the, oh yeah, you know what? While I'm here talking to y'all, I need to write down this whole thing about how I need to get the relic. Relic is supposed to actually do stuff on here, but I don't know why it doesn't. Previously, it had like a response or something. Roscoe, welcome in. I hope that you're having a wonderful time, a wonderful day. And in a second, I'm going to beam you on up to the moon.
Recently, the scientists of Earth made an amazing discovery. A bunny named Momo lives on the moon.
I think we're going to play through... No, I think it's time. I think we've been going for 8 minutes now. I had to get like some last minute things ready, and there's always like a delay like in everything that's going on too. All right, Roscoe, you ready to come up to the moon? You ready to be up at the moon? Let me know if you're ready, because you gotta get ready like spaghetti. All right, Roscoe is ready to go to the moon. All right, cool. Alright, well here we go.
Initiating moon travel. Please prepare yourself as we make our way through space. Make sure you take some deep, soothing breaths. We're now on our way to visit Momo. We're now approaching the surface of the moon. Please prepare yourself for landing by taking additional deep, soothing breaths. Inhale slowly and exhale slowly. Thank you for choosing moon travel. We hope you travel with us again soon.
Oh, you made it to the moon. You made it to the moon. I know at least Roscoe's here, but I'm sure there's other people that have made it up to the moon. Hey, mooncakes. Welcome to the bunny abode up here on the moon, where things are always... There's always something up here on the moon. You know, there's always something. How's everybody doing tonight? How's Roscoe Green doing tonight? How are all the lurkers and all the aliens and all the spirits and all the ghosts and all the all the invisible beings doing? Chime in. Oh, you work in Roscoe Green? Yeah, I work today. I worked earlier today, and well, that was its own like fiasco is not the right word. Fiasco is not the right word, but it was definitely an experience. It was definitely a fun experience, but a tiring experience, and I almost did not stream tonight. I almost made that decision. I almost said, hey, we're not streaming tonight because I was working on stuff for the Halloween stream and I was tired and I was like, hey, I don't know if I want to do this, but sometimes I like, you got to make choices to do things that you don't want to do in the moment for a greater good that happens later on. That's sort of like, the whole concept of maturity. But yeah, anyway, so Friday is Halloween. I'm super excited, except I'm also like, I don't know, like I don't feel excited constantly, and we're gonna talk about that. So that's my first big thing I wanted to talk about. I had this whole experience growing up, right? So from the time I was a kid, around, well, no, not when I was a kid. I guess I was a kid. I was in 8th grade, and when I was in 8th grade, it was around Christmas time, right? And I noticed that for the first time in my life, Christmas did not feel like Christmas. And at the time, it was a few weeks into December and we did not have our Christmas tree up. And I remember writing off that feeling and being like, oh, well, once we get the Christmas tree up, it'll feel like Christmas. Well, after that, I think in high school it happened several years in a row that Christmas did not feel like Christmas. And then it was a very off again, on again, off again type situation where some years Christmas didn't feel like Christmas, and I never got into the spirit of it. And even to this day, it depends on the year. Like, I don't know. This year it feels right now. Just right now, it feels like Christmas is probably gonna be a good Christmas for me this year. Okay. It feels right now. If I just check the vibes, I'm like, okay, it's gonna feel like Christmas. It's gonna feel like it's supposed to feel, right? But I've had so many years where it didn't feel that way. I've had so many years where I'm like, man, it just, it doesn't matter how much I decorate. It doesn't matter, how many carols I sing, or if I give presents to people or get presents. No amount of Christmas cookies, no amount of going to church or anything like that. Nothing would actually bring that sense, that vibe of Christmas, right? And this year, see, I said all that to say this, right? There's actually a connection to what I'm going to say next. This year, I've kind of had that vibe with Halloween. I'm kind of shocked that I haven't really been like in the Halloween spirit this year. Usually Halloween is like October is like my month. October is the month where I'm like, dude, I have my Halloween decorations up. I am excited. I'm like, yeah. I am ready for all of this, right? I am ready. And this year it's not really quite been like that. So it's like tonight we're going to do some little spooky doodles and spooky scribbles and stuff like that to kind of get us in the Halloween spirit, right? We're gonna do that. If we had more people here, Roscoe, I don't want to just ask questions to you. Not that I don't think that you would give me good answers. It's just I feel like the discussion questions are going to happen at a different time when there are more people and we can actually promote a discussion. Even though I could sit here and talk about these questions, some of them are actually kind of weird. One of the questions I pulled out earlier said something like, what's a fashion trend that you thought was cool at the time, but now you look back and you think it was cringe? And I'm kind of like, I don't think I ever engaged in a particular fashion trend that I look back on and like, oh, that's so cringy at this point. I think probably the closest thing is that I used to wear Jinkos, but I don't think that Jinkos are cringe. I think they actually look kind of cool. Even now at 40, I'm like, yeah, Jinkos actually, like, I would wear Jinkos at 40 if I could, like, well, I guess I can. I guess I have every ability to get Jinkos. I just have no interest in doing so. So there's that. We can actually pull another question. Rat tails. See, I never had that. Did you have a rat tail, Roscoe? I never had one. I had a close to a mullet. You had a rat tail. Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting... I can't see you with the rat tail. But if you enjoyed it at the time, that's the thing that matters, These questions are lame. I don't know. I could write better questions than the ones I'm getting. It's dumb things like, what cars did your family own? I mean, come on. Blockhead used to make fun of you. Oh, that's because... I'm sorry he was an asshole. Blockhead, you shouldn't be an asshole. You should not have been an asshole to your brother. That's not a good... It's not a good look, especially not now. Who taught you how to ride a bike? Joke's on you, I can't ride a bike. So the answer would actually be myself. Because when I was never taught how to ride a bike. When I was a senior in high school, I got to the point where I took out the bicycle and like, okay, I want to try to do this. And I could like start on a hill and kick off from the hill and go down and kind of keep my momentum for a little while. But I was never able to like just, start riding like right on the road or something. I was never able to actually have the bicycle I was never able to ride a bicycle completely and properly and just go wherever I wanted on it. And that's kind of sad in a lot of ways. I kind of missed out on that whole aspect of my childhood. So it's like, nobody really taught me. I taught myself. And it's amazing. And then I thought I was like the only person ever who didn't know how to ride a bike. And apparently that's a very common thing, that for some reason people can't ride bikes. I'm like, okay, well, Roscoe, who taught you how to ride a bike? And we'll ask Blockhead who taught him. I'm hearing a lot of noises from the outside. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of stuff going on the moon. I'm gonna really... You think your mother... Yeah, I can see you. I can see... Who taught me? You did. I didn't teach you... Wait. So are you saying that Roscoe... Welcome in, Blockhead. Are you saying that Roscoe taught you how to ride a bike? Or are you saying that I taught you how to ride a bike? I need to make my own box of questions because these are just not good. Like this, which piece of land would you preserve forever? I mean, what kind of a question is that? The moon. I would preserve the moon forever. Because this is where I am. The moon. You never forget. Well, I was never taught, or I was self-taught. You would preserve the last blockbuster forever. Oh, Blockhead, I'm so happy that you have wonderful practical visions for the world. Preserving the last blockbuster forever would definitely make sure that the 1990s were always with us. Now, speaking of that, there's this bizarre phenomenon that goes on with the people having like 1990s nostalgia at this point. I'm like, okay, there were some cool things in the 90s. I'm not going to deny that. Like, the 90s is what gave us, like, sort of, like, some of the classic, like, the Super Nintendo, for instance. It gave us things like the Spice Girls, and it gave us things like Tamagotchi and stuff like that, right? The 90s gave us a lot of great media, and a lot of great music, a lot of great media, a lot of great aesthetic, the whole, like, bowl haircut and the whole skaters and all of that stuff, a lot of good alternative rock music. But at the same time, the culture was still, like, rabidly homophobic and transphobic, like, much less transphobic. It's like, there were so many things that were so much worse in the 90s compared to now. And I'm like, look, we had some cool things there, but y'all are getting, like, nostalgia vision here. Like, it was not the thing that you think it was, right? So I don't know. Like, I was a kid, so, my nose is really stuffy tonight, guys. Who is the most optimistic person you know? I would probably say that I am the most optimistic person I know. I think that I try to reason out why things are not necessarily as bad. My big thing is I try to tell people that a lot of times our minds cannot hold the big picture of things a lot of times. So a lot of the time I keep saying a lot of the time, and I'm noticing that I'm saying it. We see the negative. Our minds have a bias towards seeing negative things, right? And then on top of our minds having that kind of bias, okay, it is hard for us to see a big picture of something that is very complex. It's hard for us to see a big picture that's complex with a bunch of moving pieces. And I try to remind myself there's always stuff that you don't know. There's always people doing good that you don't know about. In the same way that you can say there are people doing bad that you don't know about, there's always people doing good that you don't know about. And I think that's where my optimism, if one might call me an optimist, I think that's where it comes from. So yeah. Roscoe, Blockhead, you guys want to chime in on who the most optimistic person you know is? It would be really funny to try to ban myself in my own stream. See, like I'm seeing there's so many dumb questions in here. Like, do you tend to live in the past, present, or future? Well, all of us literally live in the present. We cannot live in the past or the future. By definition, we exist in the present. So for someone to ask a question like, do you tend to live in the past, present, or future? Okay, it probably means, in a sort of metaphorical sense. Are you always focused on what's going to come up, or are you always focused on the past? And I think a lot of people, I think it is very, very difficult to live in the moment. There's a lot of people who give that advice. I think it's very difficult to just try to be in the moment, because the moment is kind of defined by that which has come before and that which is coming in the future. So I don't know. I feel like we all live in a sort of mixture of it, really, if you think about it, if you're not taking it like as a super literal question. Anybody else want to answer? Anybody else want to chime in? Or do I need to read your tarot cards? I don't have my tarot cards with me over here. I would have to get up and go get them. So nobody's getting a tarot reading tonight, but you can get a tarot reading on Halloween if you want it. Or we could do like a spirituality stream at some point, like I used to do back in the good old days. Back in those days, right? See, now I'm doing the whole nostalgia thing. The good old days of when I streamed before. Oh, yeah. So what was your favorite childhood meal? This is going to sound completely off the wall, but I really loved chili when I was a kid. Chili was like the most delicious food I had ever had. I distinctly remember that my cousin was in a beauty pageant. And in the beauty pageant, and again, I was like a little kid. I don't even know if I was in school yet. In the beauty pageant, I remember that every kid that was up there, every kid's favorite food was pizza. Everyone, they said, oh, their favorite food is pizza. Their favorite food is pizza. And I was so mad that nobody up there said that their favorite food was chili, because because mine was. And so I was really mad. I was like, pizza was my second favorite food. I always thought it was very weird when I was a kid that everybody said that pizza was their favorite food. I was like, no, chili is definitely my favorite food. That is no longer the case. I do love chili. I do love chili and grilled cheese. We actually had some nice chili and grilled cheese a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago. I made a giant pot of chili and it was amazing. And then I think I made another pot of chili, didn't I, Blockhead? The first time I think it turned out more like a sloppy Joe, but that second pot of chili, man, we had chili and grilled cheese sandwiches. Oh man, it was amazing. So Blockhead, you said your favorite was PB&J or PB and marshmallow gloop. Marshmallow gloop, you mean like marshmallow fluff? Or do you mean just like melting marshmallows in the microwave or something? Chewy. That's a Mama's Family reference. For y'all who don't know, we really enjoy the Mama's Family episode. The Mama's Family episode. Do the bunny dance. It's the funny dance. It's the bunny dance. It's the honey dance. The bunny dance. It's the bunny dance. It's the funny dance. It's the bunny dance. Do the bunny dance.
Best bubbles pop.
Wiggles? Yeah, Blockhead goes through these phases of saying stuff that, like that, saying wiggles, and I don't know. I think he wants chili. He wants me to make chili is what it is. Blockhead, you know what? We could do Halloween chili. You don't remember what your favorite was? Roscoe, you know what? Do you know what your favorite food is now? You could tell us your favorite food now, and we will accept that as a viable answer. Go ahead. We will not judge you for your favorite food now. Unless it's like children or something, and then we will definitely be judging you. Random question. Steak? Steak is your favorite now? So listen. Buckhead, I don't even know what the random question thing is. I don't know what the random question thing. I don't know. I think it was supposed to be these things that I'm doing now. So you just kind of like wasted 300 points. Congratulations, you played yourself. Yeah, we are doing random questions. That's what's happening right now. So steak is good. You had a bad one. It was a mistake. Listen, I have very specific feelings about steak. I think that steak is pretty good. I do not understand the sociocultural obsession with steak is a mystery to me. The best steak that I've had was not something that I would ever have obsessed over. It's not that it was bad. It's not that there's nothing that I don't like. I don't know how to explain it. It's like I taste it. I'm like, well, this is good, but it's good in the same way that like I made like a fried egg sandwich earlier, right? And a fried egg sandwich is good, but it's not the thing that I would like be like, oh, I'm so obsessed with fried egg sandwiches. Oh, it's so amazing. And the way that people just kind of lose their minds over steak. It's not that steak is bad. And I'm also like that, believe it or not, the most mysterious thing about me is that so steak is a take it or leave it food. That's what I call it. Steak is like, if there's steak there, maybe I'll have some. You know, Blockhead made some good steaks a few months ago. They were good. I mean, I ate it all. You know, I ate my steak. I think I ate all the leftovers, and I'm like, you know, it's good. It's just not something. It's not the thing that I'm gonna go out and request. And I would also say the most mysterious thing about me and my palate is the most unbelievable thing is that even though I do enjoy sushi, and you would think, what with my affinity for Japan and Japanese culture and all of that, you would think that I would be more into eating sushi. And I'm not. Like, sushi is very, very take it or leave it. It's like, if it's there...
Best bubbles pop.
Are you enjoying doing that, Blockhead? Are you really enjoying this? You enjoying seeing the best bubbles pop? Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Blockhead, these discussion questions are just kind of awful. You had sushi lasagna once. See... Speaking of sushi, so like the Korean like kimbap. So kimbap doesn't use fermented rice. And I do like kimbap, but it's almost like I like kimbap almost like oh, Blockhead. Roscoe, I like sushi. I like it. It's just very take it or leave it. Like, sushi is not the first thing I'm going to request. Kimbap is pretty good. But again, kimbap is one of those things where it's like, if I'm in the mood to eat it, then that's what I'm going to do. But it's like, I don't know. I think more than either kimbap or sushi, I like the spam musubi. I really like the spam musubi. Buckhead makes a mean spam musubi. It's wonderful. So yeah, we went to that. Roscoe, remember we all went to that one sushi restaurant, like the all-you-can-eat sushi or whatever place, and it was good. It's just like it's not like guess it's not my first choice. I would eat bulgogi. I once paid too much for sushi. It was a raw deal. Oh, dad jokes. So my stream is not really. This is not really dad joke. The moon doesn't really get dad jokes. We don't have a lot of dad jokes up here. Yeah, bulgogi is what I go. That would be what I go nuts over. Is bulgogi is the whole thing where like I would eat bulgogi any day of the week before I would eat steak. I would be like, you can have bulgogi or you can have steak. I'm like, I'm going to have the bulgogi for sure. Which celebrity would you most like to? Which celebrity would you most like to see in person? See in person sounds interesting because that's like a little bit different than meeting them. So, which celebrity would you most like to see in person? I think I would like to meet Ben Monster in person. It says, which celebrity would you most like to see in person? And I said I would like to see Ben Monster in person. The Kool-Aid Man? Oh, that's a good choice, Blockhead. Yeah, maybe next you'll choose to meet Papa Smurf. Jimmy Kimmel? Yeah, that's a good one, Roscoe. I think this is a really, really good question. If you knew that you were going to inherit a fortune, how would your plans for the future change? Well, for one, we would blow this popsicle stand for sure. We would be out of here. Oh, thanks for cheering me, Captain Blockhead. Precies. I don't know if I have a Precies thing on here. I don't know if I have I need like a Precies thing. I need something so I can show you. I can show you all the affection and such. Yeah, so if you're gonna inherit a fortune, how would your plans for the future change? It's like, definitely get out of here. Depends on how big the fortune was. If it's big enough, then like it's the whole, hey, we're not working anymore and we're gonna travel the world, you know? What would you love to find at a yard sale? Well, I know what Blockhead would like to find. He wants to find that Dybbuk box. I would hire someone to dress us like the Kool-Aid Man and be my personal Kool-Aid pourer. Dress up as... Okay, well that's a great way to blow your fortune and then have to go back to work. I mean... That's what I think anyway. It's a great way. The next one was, what would you love to find at a yard sale? And I said, oh, Blockhead would love to find the Dybbuk box. We just watched The Possession. So the Dybbuk box was the sort of catalyst for all of the stuff going on in The Possession. It was a Jewish exorcism film. pretty well done from 2012, based on a book called The Dybbuk Box. And Invisible, yeah, I knew you would say that. Don't be shy, Roscoe. If you have something to say, then you can chime in. Don't let your brother take over everything. What's the hardest thing you've ever done? Well, I would say, I don't know if it's not really something that I did. It's more like something that I went through. So we can expand this. Like, what's the hardest thing that you've ever gone through? What are you laughing about, Blockhead? What's the hardest thing you've ever done? Is it because you're taking hardest into some kind of like, perverted sense? I think that probably one of the most difficult things was when we lost our dog. I think that that's probably, it wasn't really something, obviously, you know, it's not something you do to lose your pet, but that was soul crushing. That was an awful year anyway. And then we lost our house and the hurricane, and then like I had like to do basically a year's worth of dental work. I think that was probably the most difficult thing. I don't know, like that there's got to be a cross between that and the time I had to sing a solo in a play. That the singing and the solo in the play was probably one of the, you know, most horrifying things I ever had to do as well, now that I think about it. So I don't know. Blockhead, can you give us a serious answer? What? That looks like a squirrel eating nuts or something. That looks like a frightened bunny. What's the most fun party you ever attended? Well, I'm trying to think of the parties I've attended in my life. I actually have a sort of a segue from that, of a party that I was looking forward to. And it was my first experience of like, in life you should never bank your happiness on stuff, right? You should not bank your happiness on like one event or one thing, because life is transient. Life changes, the world changes. So you have to try to find things that are more stable, which is not to say that those things are inherently stable, but like, parties aren't fun. I don't give a fuck. That's great. Parties usually aren't fun. Well, I'm gonna segue into something about it, but my experience was that as a kid, so Roscoe agrees, as a kid, I remember everybody had their birthday parties at Showbiz, which then became Chuck E. Cheese. Everybody, like every kid, every person in my family, every kid at school. So going to Chuck E. Cheese was one of those things that it was fun, but like, you know, it happened a lot, right? And I remember I was in 4th or 5th grade, and my little cousin was having his birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was looking forward to it. This was an event that I looked forward to like all week. It was an event that I woke up in the middle of the night and was like super excited at the prospect of going to this party. And I remember it was over like I don't know, it was over so fast. It was like we were there and then it was done, and I was just sort of like, wow, you know, I was like obsessing over this party for like a week or more, and then we actually have the party and it's done. It's over, said and done. So I don't know. There was that. The most fun party I ever attended. Okay. instead of me lamenting. Blockhead, is that like little things of stinky cheese? Roscoe, is that a gif of your face? The coffee house that I used to go to. The amazing, amazing coffee house. Oh, it's the inclusion pride flag. I love it. The coffee house I frequented and basically lived my college years in. The sort of going away party for it. It wasn't really the final day of the coffee house being open, but the big sort of, you know, we're gonna go out on a bang with this. The big aspect of that, the whole we're going out on a bang with, we're doing this. It was a Halloween party, so it's Halloween of 2005, and I think that I always remember that party fondly. Yeah, I think that was probably the most fun. I feel like there's another one that's somewhere in my memory of like a fun party. Oh, when I was a kid, I remember at one of my birthday parties, we played Capture the Flag outside at night, and I remember I had a lot of fun at that party. I actually had so much fun at that party that the next day when everybody left and everybody went home, I ended up like walking outside and walking around out in nature and crying because it was over. Because again, it was one of those cases where I spent all this time looking forward to something, and then like it was over. I was also getting bullied a lot at school, so it was like the party was supposed to be like the whole thing. It was supposed to be like sort of the antidote, and I discovered that was not the antidote. Having a party was not the antidote to being bullied. Do you know what the antidote to bullies is? It's kicking the bully's ass. Because bullies don't do this whole thing where you try to make friends with them or whatever. They don't think in those languages. They don't think like that. They don't like. But let me tell you something. If somebody's bullying you and you knock their lights out, you knock their tooth out or something like that, you bloody their nose, they will think twice. They will think twice. Now they might attack you later, but they will think twice before they do it. And making them think twice is sort of like the beginning step, right? My squeaky chair, perfect for Halloween. Squeak. It's perfect for Halloween. Have you ever bought anything from a TV infomercial? That is an excellent question. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, I remember seeing those commercials for Micro Crisp, where people would make stuff in their microwave using this like weird material or whatever that was supposed to basically turn your microwave into a functioning like real oven. And I always got so hungry watching those commercials. And I don't think I've ever bought anything from commercials like that though. I don't think. When I was a kid, my mom was like very, very wary of using her credit card over the phone, because that's how you had to order a lot of stuff. Like if you saw an infomercial, you're gonna be like you giving somebody your credit card number, right? You're gonna be giving them that kind of information. They don't do checks or money orders or anything like that. So I'm just saying that I don't think I've ever bought anything from a TV infomercial. I do know that on TikTok there is there's an exercise machine that you use to work your pecs and your biceps and stuff. And I bought one of those, not through TikTok. I went to Amazon and bought it. But yeah, so I guess I was like entranced by the ad, if that makes sense. So there's sort of a technicality there. I don't know. Roscoe Blockhead, have y'all ever bought anything from a TV infomercial? When I was a kid, I keep saying when I was a kid, yeah. I really wanted the Nickelodeon magazine or whatever. I really wanted the Nickelodeon magazine. Neither of you ever bought anything from a TV infomercial? That's hard to believe. I'm gonna have to ask Dad. You do watch QVC sometimes. I do not support watching QVC or any such channels. Home Shopping Network, I don't support watching those. Because I never even bought Muzzy. I would have loved to have had Muzzy. I wanted the Nickelodeon magazine, but like, yeah, anything that required my mom to call and use her credit card, we would not, that would not be happening. Okay. What did you get in trouble for when you were young? Well, the brothers in the chat are going to get into a fight over that. But what didn't I get in trouble for when I was young? My parents thought I was a demon child. They thought that I... Exactly, Blockhead. It's like they thought I was a demon child. A demon child who made straight A's. A demon child who was mostly quiet and loved to read and play video games and stuff. It's actually because I was traumatized by my kindergarten teacher. It's like I was actually kind of a wild kid. Before I started school, I was kind of like wild and very loud and very enthusiastic and happy to be alive. And my kindergarten teacher like would yell at me for, and when I say this, I mean like not for like, okay. So imagine like if you had like a little kid and the little kid was like hitting another little kid or something, right? That would be a situation where you might have to yell to get their attention to make them stop hitting a kid. Imagine that you like pulled the puzzle pieces with your friends out of the puzzle too fast for the teacher. And you got like screamed at and put in the corner. That's the kind of kindergarten teacher I had. I'm like, when I thought about it, I'm like, that woman had no right, no business being near little kids. Like little 5-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-olds, like, yeah, you absolutely should not. You have to like approach children and meet them where they are at their age. You know, they're in their developmental capacity. So my nervous system was not used to being screamed at for making minor like mistakes or whatever. Like, I don't know, for making minor mistakes of taking a puzzle apart too fast or whatever. Or like one time the teacher screamed at me because she was explaining how to... there was a project we were working on and she was trying to explain to my little group. There's like 3 of us in it. And she was trying to explain how to do this project. And I like started cutting it or whatever before she had finished. Before she had finished explaining. And instead of saying, oh, well, I have some more to explain. And I could have been like, oh, okay. You know, she screamed at me. And I'm like, because I started cutting a piece of paper. I started cutting because I understood like where the directions were going. And yeah, it's wild when I think about stuff like that. I think about like, why would adults scream at small children like that? Like, I don't get it. When you were in high school, you went back to the 50s in a DeLorean. It was a whole thing. You need to haul past Nancy. Who's Nancy? So yeah, it's like, what didn't I get in trouble for? I should... See, okay. I hate questions like this. Is justice or forgiveness more important? Here's the thing. Depending on the situation, either of those could be more important. If one of your friends hurt your feelings, yeah, Judy Justice. If one of your friends said something and hurt your feelings, then in a situation like that, reconciling with your friend may be more important. Reconciling with your friend who hurt your feelings may be more important than like getting justice, like something bad happening to them or whatever, or somebody hurting their feelings. Forgiveness may be more important in that situation. In some situations, justice is more important. Justice is clearly more important. Like, for instance, if you are a person who's had over 30 felons charged to, you know, you've been convicted of 30 felons, and you go on to, you know, attain the highest office in the land. Oh, Blockhead Tear, thank you. Forgiveness is the dish best served hot. Like, for instance, if you're a terrible person who has shown no sense of repenting, no sense of slowing down, no sense of being less evil or less corrupt than before, you've not shown any efforts to make amends from where you have wronged people, then in that case, the most appropriate thing is swift justice. It is swift, full, and committed justice. That's all I'm saying, is like when someone is truly harming other people, when they're truly a terrible
Best
human
bubbles pop.
Blockhead, how do you have so many points? So justice and forgiveness are equally important, and it depends on the situation which one is best. What's the scariest movie of all time? Well, we already kind of... You do not have 2 million, Blockhead. There's no way for you to have 2 million because I never streamed enough for you to have 2 million. Cats? Yeah, we already actually talked about this, that Blockhead always says that the true scariest movie is The Exorcist, and there's actually not really any true horror film after that that is scary. I say Communion, but you know. What household disaster happened to you? A hurricane? But if we're not talking about a hurricane, one time when I was a kid, we were out of like dishwasher solution, so I put like dishwashing solution in the dishwasher, and the dishwasher flooded the kitchen with bubbles. So that happened. I've had dryers go out. I've had dishwashers go out. We had a garbage disposal go out. So basically, yeah. And ants at the townhouse, which was my favorite place that we've ever lived. At our townhouse, we had ants from time to time. I love the townhouse, but I also think about it sometimes and I'm like, well, as much as I love the townhouse, there's also something else to take into consideration. The townhouse had a little bit of an odd layout to it, and I didn't necessarily like that the living space was just open concept. I don't like open concept. I do not like feeling like I am in a box. And even at our condo, at least it had like sort of like an L shape to it. Like it was open concept, but the spaces were defined. And I guess that's what I've compromised on with myself over the years. I'm like, look, open concept is fine if you can define the spaces and have a sense of separation. But just being in a big square, like that drives me bananas. What's the worst job you ever had? I don't know if I can say that on stream. The worst job that I ever had. I've liked most of my jobs, but there was one that I quit after 3 days, and I said nope. I said nope. The movie theater was the worst. Oh, that's right. You told me that because you said this is for the birds. Because didn't you say that like after it was all over, like everybody just kind of like abandoned you and like left you to go there? Like I worked for a very well-known largest of the stores that is you know, I don't know what you call it, like a chain or whatever. I worked for one of those very large corporations at the lowest rung of the corporate hierarchy or whatever you want to call it. I was the bottom. The theater just got too real. Yeah, Blockhead, that's what I always say too. I wanted to do some art because I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like I wanted to do some art, but like I had to do some more stuff for the Halloween stream, and now I'm like so tired that I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying my time with you, with the brothers, with the brothers and the invisible others. Yeah. Anyway, I worked for a very large. It's everywhere. Putting people out of business type business, on the lowest place in the business. And I thought people were exaggerating it online about the role. And then after I did it, I was like, no, it was like a bunch of things. Like they didn't tell me what they were hiring me for at first. And then like they did other stuff. Like they put me out the second day by myself to work, which is not like it's a job that took a rocket scientist or anything to do it, but still I was by myself. And probably the thing that made me the angriest is they had specifically requested, I was still in college, so they specifically requested my school schedule so that they could schedule me to work around the school schedule. And do you know what my very first schedule they gave me was? My very first schedule had me working through some of my classes. And I was sitting there like, you specifically asked me for my schedule to work around my college schedule, and then you just completely ignored that. Anyway, yeah, I quit after 3 days. You know what else I didn't do? I never got that paycheck. I have a very bizarre chip on my shoulder about that. I don't know if that's the right term in this case. I have a very like high sense of pride, and I was miserable for those 3 days. And I basically said, I'm like, look, I'm not gonna let anyone pay me to be miserable on this level. Like there are jobs that are way better out there, and yeah, and luckily I ended up finding. In my adulthood now, I found a couple of pretty amazing jobs, and I'm like, I wish I'd had these jobs back when I was in high school, because that would have changed also the trajectory of my life in so many ways. But you know, the internet was not really like set up like it is now. It wouldn't have been fast enough to do stuff back then. It's just like, yeah. I always talk about it like I always say I can't figure out if I was born too late or too early. I always feel like I was born like in the. I feel like maybe I should have been born like in 1990 instead, you know, or maybe I should have been born like in 1970. I don't know. Like I always have this weird sense I was born in the wrong year, and so I kind of don't fit in with my peers a lot of the times. Actually, I was like really. When we first like happened upon the Ben Monster people, I was worried for a second. I was worried for a while, like because Blockhead and I were like in our mid to late 30s, and we thought that all the people like in the Ben Monster community were probably like in their 20s or something, just from the way they behaved. So I felt kind of weird. I was like, you know, I'm in my 30s and all these people like feel like they might be in their 20s. Then I found out everybody was like our age or older, and I was like, okay, like I feel much better now. I feel like I found my people. We understand each other. We're all like, you know, basically the same age anyway, and it's like great. Do you possess any of the qualities of your astrological sign? Blockhead is like an amazingly Taurus, as am I. Like, if you don't believe in astrology, then you have to look up what a Taurus's characteristics are, and that they nailed Blockhead, definitely. But really, in reality, astrology is way more complicated than what they say your sign is or whatever. Astrology as a you know, as an art or a field or whatever you would call it, background. Astrology is so complicated with like the different placements and planets and different signs and like what all of that means. And so it's like, you know, one person can be totally different than another person, and it's kind of amazing though. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. Yeah. Listen. Yeah, these questions. I should like make my own questions and then like release my box of questions.
Best bubbles pop.
What do you miss about childhood? Well, you just like seeing my art move? What do you miss about childhood? I think sort of the resounding thing that people would say at this point is that maybe like not having to pay bills, it would be like the big thing that you would miss about childhood, like not having to have your own income and not having to pay bills and not having to be concerned with finances. But I don't know, like the flavors before everything got gross. You know, Blockhead, I don't know if we've talked about it on stream, but I have mentioned it before to you that Hot Pockets are like that. Like, so I don't know what Hot Pockets changed in their Pizza Hot Pocket. I just know that the difference between what the Pizza Hot Pockets tasted like when I was a little kid and what they taste like now, it's a very specific flavor, and I don't know what the flavor is. It's like they don't have as much basil in it or something. I'm not sure what the exact flavor is, but when I taste it, I know it. When I taste that flavor, I know. I'm like, look, they're missing something in the Hot Pockets, and now I want a Hot Pocket, Blockhead. I think we have some Hot Pockets. Don't we still have Hot Pockets? Or have you eaten them all? I've actually eaten most of those Hot Pockets, guys. But I'm probably gonna get groceries pretty soon, like this week. Oh, Blockhead, you only had one. Well, what if I get you some more Hot Pockets, Blockhead? Would you like that? I don't remember how many Star Crunches I ate as a kid. And Twinkies, like I Chunk Stuffers. Yeah, so Chunk Stuffers was allegedly the original name for Hot Pockets, and they've never been able to find any evidence of that. Like, they've never been able to find any evidence that they were originally called Chunk Stuffers. In fact, I think that somebody emailed the company that makes Hot Pockets and was like, hey, we heard this, and they were like, no, they've never been called Chunk Stuffers officially. Officially is the key word. I wonder if it was like an internal name. Oh, Blockhead, thank you for cheering. Thank you for cheering. I appreciate it. Cheering those bits. Cheering the bits for the bunnies. Oh, it's so cute. I love the little icons. I look like super washed out on this stream. Well, I mean, it's supposed to look like that, guys. It's like sort of like, well, what happened is that the more I have the color in here on the stream, like the more the pinker we all look on here. But it looks like I might be like a little bit too washed out. I'll have to fix that. I'm like almost completely in grayscale. I didn't mean for that to happen. Well, yeah. Mooncakes, I love you, but listen, Momo the Moon Bunny, gonna have to sleep. Gonna have to sleep soon. So yeah, so I'm gonna actually, where did my phone go? Yeah. Gonna try to see who all is like streaming currently, and we're gonna figure it out. And I think I saw one of my friends on here earlier. He started streaming earlier, and we're gonna find out and then we're gonna stream. Oh, you know what? The Graceful Bard's on. I could stream. You could have the Graceful Bard. I think that pineapple goes on pizza. I am. If I were to say, I'm trying to see what. Okay, hold on. All right, kids. We're gonna go see Luco. We're gonna send you to Luco. So y'all have a good time. Thanks for tuning in, Mooncakes. We're gonna hit the outro, and we are going to. I'll see you next stream.